Today I'm doing a drawing demonstration of a Suline GP35. And the first step, as you would know, is that I put the rail down. Now the rail that I put in my drawings is right at about 1/2 of an inch. That's on these cards that I use of hot press illustration board. It's basically, I use 4-inch cards, so 1/2 an inch makes it so that the drawing sits nicely. And I put the drawing right at about a little over an inch from the edge so that the coupler sits nicely. And GP35 is about 8.5 inches long. And the card I'm using, the coupler then will fit nicely on both sides. And a GP35 is a little over three quarters of an inch. It's kind of right in between 3/4 and an inch. And what you should do is measure it in about 3 or 4 places at the exact same height. That way they connect nice and evenly so that you have a nice straight frame to build off of. Because the frame being nice and straight and flat really shows in the finished drawing. And I have my drawings as references, which is always kind of good to build on. And as you do more and more drawings, you should kind of consult with your old drawings and see what parts of them you like and what parts you want to build on, what parts you maybe want to change, or that way you kind of end up saying, hey, that's what I liked in that drawing, that's what I want to keep. And there's something that I maybe want to change, you know. And a GP35 is basically right at all EMD engines the way I do, where if it's that little over between 3/4 and an inch tall, that would make it where it's 1.5 inches from the frame to the top. It's 1.5 inches tall, and it's right about 1/8 of an inch in on both sides, from the nose to the tip of the frame and from the back to the tip of the frame. And the nose is right about 1 inch tall. And the back is all 1.5 inches, which is level with the cab. And then a little less than 1/4 of an inch, there's the headlight. And 1/4 of an inch off of the top, maybe a little bit less here, is the headlight and number board. Put the headlights on it, and you can put the edge of the roof on this. And then basically 1/8 of an inch is the angling of the back, and again, about 1/8 of an inch is the step on the side. And a little bit over an inch, inch and a quarter or so is the blower duct section. And about 2.5 is the engine room doors. And the rest of it is the cooling section, the radiator. And put the non-dynamic brake. What happens is that as you start drawing a lot of EMD engines, a lot of this stuff, basically, even though there's variations to it, a lot of this stuff, a lot of these details start to repeat quite a bit, in the sense that the engine room doors on EMD engines are all pretty basically the same. A lot of EMD engines have the 10 engine room doors where there's a set of 4 and another set of 4 and then a set of 2. Where there's a little bit more of a change is back here. The cooling fans are like on a GP35, they're the two intakes. Like, for instance, the roof fans, actual fans themselves, on like a Sioux-line engine, there's the winterization hatch for the front one, and then GP35s have the smaller middle one. That's actually where there's pretty significant change. And this is, here, let's see, do a little bit of measuring. It's a little bit less than an inch to make these be centered. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll put these fans, the intakes, not the fans are on the top, but the intakes where they need to go, and leave them blank for a little bit, because I'm mainly just doing a lot of measuring right now where the doors are going. And the actual detail of that, you're a little too busy right now to be doing that. And the blower duct, again, we can just leave that blank, because in a pretty quick moment I'm going to want to sharpen my pencil. And as you can kind of see, look how much got done. Should definitely pretty quickly started to look like a locomotive. So that's basically, why don't we stop for part 1, and then I'll go and sharpen my pencil. You should sharpen your pencil and move on to part 2.